New Houston Texans offensive coordinator Nick Caley, he's got to be more of a blender than a copier. I'll explain what I mean. Powered by my friends at BetUS. Nick Caley, the new Texans offensive coordinator, announced earlier this week. And one of the things that I loved about Nick Caley's resume and where he had coached was he was in Los Angeles under Sean McVay on that Rams staff. Now, that was just 2 years, but there's a lot you can absorb and pick up in 2 years from being under Sean McVay. And then Cole Popovich, the assistant offensive line coach for the past 2 seasons for the Texans, got promoted to offensive line coach and run game coordinator by Nick Caley. And I got to imagine he signs off on that because Popovich and Caley worked together in New England under offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels when they were both coaches on McDaniels' offensive side of the staff, all under the Bill Belichick umbrella. And so I got to thinking, hey, maybe there's a little bit more New England to the blend that Nick Caley's going to bring together from his time with the Rams and his time in New England, in addition to his time under Brett Bielema in college, which is a power run game. His time under Tom Herman, who is considered an offensive mastermind at times in college. His time under air raid offenses. He's got to put it all together in creating his own style of offense. And that's the biggest thing. He's got to be a blender, not a copier. It felt a lot like Bobby Slowick's 2023 and 2024 was a lot of copier. Basically taken the Shanahan playbook that he watched and evolved under in San Francisco, putting it on the copy machine, and then just running a lot of those concepts without any sort of evolution or change to what Kyle Shanahan did. Now, one of the things that worked against Bobby Slowick, he primarily had only coached under Kyle Shanahan. He didn't have a lot of experience to pull from here and blend together and build his own style and type of offense. He had to just kind of copy and try to adjust in the margins based on what he had available as knowledge. Nick Caley, with his extensive coaching resume in a couple of different spots, primarily in the NFL, at New England and with the Rams, but at a bunch of different spots over the course of his college coaching career and pro coaching career, has got a lot more experience to add in, a lot more concepts for the run game, for the pass game, for the blocking scheme, which, my God, was so terrible for the Texans in 2024. So blending all of that together is the charge for Nick Caley. You can't copy Sean McVay and try to plop that down onto the Houston Texans. You don't have the same things. The offensive line in LA is much better. Matt Stafford is an extremely experienced and talented quarterback. They've got better skill position players and skill position depth than the Texans do. So you can't copy what Sean McVay did. Copying what Josh McDaniels did, well, that's a fool's errand. You had Tom Brady that picked up a lot of what McDaniels did. And though McDaniels has failed wildly as a head coach, he's been a pretty good offensive coordinator, and Brady seems to like him. Worth noting, CJ Stroud and Brady, pretty good friends. And I got to imagine if some concepts look familiar to CJ Stroud and he picks his buddy Tom Brady's brain, Brady could say, hey, Caley's using some of that McDaniels stuff. Hey, don't forget, in addition to the fantastic sportsbook that they have at BetUS, they've also got the casino. Okay, you want to talk about blending stuff together, blend your sportsbook with your casino usage. Casino, you get a 200% sign-up bonus up to $5,000 when you head over to the BetUS casino. 250% sign-up bonus when you use crypto up to $5,000. Of course, game responsibly. They got the casino, live dealers, slot machines, everything that you might need at BetUS. What's exactly the split? What do you want to take from both of those offenses that Caley primarily worked with, and what do you want to put together? I know DeMeco Ryans wants to run the football and wants to run the football more consistently and better than they did last year. Look, Joe Mixon had a pretty darn good season. Got over 1,000 yards. When he played, he was a weapon for the Texans, but there were still stretches of the season where Mixon would have 2.5 quarters and be silent the other portion of the game. Or Mixon would have a really good quarter, and that'd be about it for his production for the game. And that's the defenses adjusting to what the Texans were doing and not having a counterpunch to what the defenses brought to them. That was one of my big issues with the run game. And when you think back to some of those Patriots offenses, and yes, Tom Brady throwing the ball, that's how they got it done, but it was usually supplemented by a very efficient and solid rushing attack. They get downhill. There's just get the ball in the running back's belly. There's the hole. Go hit it. Not a bunch of reading, reacting, trying to bounce it out. And some of those concepts worked a little bit better for the Texans at times when they made that adjustment late in the year and they had a little bit of a semblance of a rushing game, and Mixon was a little bit more consistent from time to time with some of those just more, I don't want to say simple. It's all very difficult. The offensive line's got to do their thing. The running back, quarterback, yada, yada, adjust to the defense. But some of those concepts that are lean themselves more towards what the Patriots did and what Caley, I'm sure, learned under the New England umbrella. And remember, he was a tight ends coach, so he had to know the run fits, the run blocking, how the pass blocking worked with that, and obviously teaching the receiving to the tight ends as well. So he's probably got a pretty good understanding of that. Cole Popovich, who was an assistant running backs coach and a offensive line coach for the Patriots, probably has a good understanding of that. So there's kind of your rushing attack element to it. Now, the passing attack, I want it to be a lot more McVay, okay? I want motion before the snap. I want disguising the way things look. I want unique launch areas for wide receivers. I mean, you think about some of the weird spots wide receivers have come from. I watched a play just the other day making the rounds on social media, and the Rams had a wide receiver, Jordan Whittington, motion in behind the offensive line. It looked like he was going to block, and the next thing you know, Whittington's running wide open across the middle of the field because the defense thought he was going to block it. He was actually going out for a pass. And that's just one of the simple and creative things that I hope that Nick Caley brings over from the Rams. And again, you can't take the playbook, put it on the copy machine, and bring it in and run some of those things. You've got to adjust to what you have. Do the Texans currently have a Jordan Whittington type? No, they've got kind of the number one guy that you could stick on the outside and you get him the ball a lot. That's Nico Collins playing, I would guess, a little bit of the Puka Nacua role that you saw. But you can see sometimes Cooper Kupp goes out there and wins over the middle, and that's a big Nico Collins thing as well. So you've got some of those things that you could throw in a Nico Collins. You got to go find some other players to kind of be able to steal from the Rams concepts and adjust to what you have. But I know what the Texans do have. They've got a really good running back. If they could just get the offensive line to play a little bit better and a little bit more consistent, and maybe a scheme change and an offensive adjustment better benefits the talents that they do have, and they run the football better, it's going to make passing the ball a little bit easier for CJ Stroud and for everybody in the passing attack. And then that blend that you start to see from Nick Caley will come together. So while the Rams element is a big thumbs up on Nick Caley's resume, he's got to blend what worked for the Rams that can work for the Texans with what might work from his previous stops, including the Patriots, that power run under Brett Bielema, the stuff that he learned from Tom Herman, the air raid offenses that he worked on under in the past as well. There's a lot that he has to put together to create his offensive scheme, okay, to create what he wants to do. Don't get it off the copy machine. Don't get it out of somebody else's playbook. Give me the Nick Caley playbook, and hopefully that gets the Texans going on offense in 2025. And if they do, that defense plays pretty good in 2025. Maybe we're all hanging out in San Francisco next year, or at the very least, going further than the Texans have ever gone before and watching them play in an AFC championship game. What say you? What's the blend look like? Are you nervous about too much Patriots stuff? Because hey, it's pretty tough to copy what Tom Brady was doing. Let me know in the comment section down below on your way down there. Throw me a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Don't forget about my friends at BetUS. They got that great casino for you over on the website. Get you a 250% sign-up bonus when you use crypto to sign up on the casino, or a 200% sign-up bonus up to $5,000 when you get signed up at the casino. Live dealers, slots, course, game responsibly as well. But check out my friends at BetUS. Appreciate you watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Can't wait until we talk Texans again soon.